with Alexa von Tobel, founder and CEO of LearnVest. So Alexa, you mentioned that you founded the company within the last couple years. What was the impetus behind its creation?
So good question. I was graduating from Harvard College and I'd gotten a great education, and as a smart woman I was thinking about my future. I was going to work on Wall Street, and I just remember having this lingering feeling of how have I never been educated about the basics of personal finance, something that's so critical for my future, and it's really important to having a positive future and being able to be in control of your own destiny. And I just kept thinking, wow, I can't believe I've never learned about this. And I started researching it and found out that personal finance, sadly, is not taught in high schools, colleges, or graduate schools across the United States. Yet listen, as individuals, we make 6 to 10 money decisions every day, from should I take a cab, or am I, buying my coffee or bringing my lunch, to what are we doing, this weekend. Those are all money decisions, and I just felt like there had to be something out there that would really be a great resource for millions of Americans.
How did you decide that this was how you were going to approach it, though? I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could have approached this.
Sure. So that's a really good question, and no one's really ever asked me that. So I really did the research. I wrote a 75-page business plan, understood the market and the landscape, and my goal was to improve financial literacy for millions of Americans. And what I quickly found was I could go and attack the schools and try to get into the school systems, but I knew that that was going to be a long shot for having any really quick, successful results, because schools were challenged. It was 2008. I mean, we're in the heart of the worst recession in 81 years, and their balance sheets were shrinking and their donations were shrinking. So I knew that that wasn't going to be a successful option. This is when the internet, in my mind, became incredibly useful, because as a for-profit business, I could go and attract, by giving equity to brilliant, smart people to come get behind our mission and quickly build a business online where we could, within a few months, being able to talk to 100,000 individuals quickly. So that was faster than being able to go to the school system, and that's why, I think that entrepreneurship is just so powerful when coupled with the internet, how you can quickly reach, hundreds of thousands of people quickly, and I was able to enact change faster than I would if I went the nonprofit route.
Talk a little bit about the delivery mechanisms and how do you actually educate people?
Sure. So plain and simple, LearnVest is now the leading site for women and their money online. You can come and you can get free content and tools. So everything from, whether or not to buy a home, calculators, to how much is your hour worth. And then we have free newsletters that you can come and subscribe to that teach you how to earn well, save well, and spend well. So content that ranges from how to save money on dry cleaning to how to negotiate for a better salary, every day delivered to your inbox for free. So that's sort of the free content side. We've then, in just the last few months, rolled out what I believe to be one of the more innovative things that's happening in the personal finance space, which is you can now pay a small subscription fee to talk directly to certified financial planners through the LearnVest platform. So LearnVest goes out and finds the best financial planners here in the United States. We work with them directly, and we actually allow you to pay a small fee and talk directly to them and ask your own personal questions, because at the end of the day, that's what we all want. And frankly, I fundamentally believe that financial planning should not be a luxury here in the United States. So in a nutshell, that's LearnVest. Free content and tools. You have questions, we're going to get you access to a financial advisor.
How did you go about vetting those folks, the CFPs, in order to find the right ones that could deliver the right type of information?
Sure. So when we launched LearnVest, just the free content side, we started having hundreds of people write into us saying, I believe in your mission so much, how can I help? So quickly we started having dozens of CFPs writing in all the time, and we started going through and finding the ones that had great certifications, that were really passionate about the space, that cared about working with us. They started working with us pro bono. We started quickly vetting out which ones were the smartest and the best and had the best delivery and really cared about our user base.
You talked about rolling out some different products and services that you started with this, you moved to that. What process do you use as the founder and CEO to develop those ideas, to identify the ones that will work, and then run it through the sniff test before you launch it?
Sure. So it's the simplest answer. I listen to our users all day long. We have hundreds of people who write in and say, I wish you could do this. I wish you could do that. I have this question. God, it would be so great if you could help do this. So that's the first thing. We listen to our users. Our product team is so passionate about listening to users, and then we go through a really rigorous product process of building, testing, and then we actually bring in live users all the time. We have this thing called LearnVest Labs, where we have 7,500 users that we actually vet our tested products through. And then finally, if I would use it, then it's good enough. And I think that that's the final sort of sniff test is this something I would use every day that would really make my life better? And if the answer is yes, after that end of that process, then I'm like, it's ready to go.
If something meets with, say, 8 out of 10 criteria, still a no-go then?
No-go. I mean, I think product is everything in this world that we're in with the internet. If your product doesn't speak for itself and people are willing to share it with their friends and talk about it as, oh my God, have you heard of LearnVest? It's the best site. It's helped me do X, Y, and Z with my money, and it's just so powerful. If someone's not going to give us a recommendation like that, then we're not there yet. And so that's sort of the internal standards that I keep pushing us for. And frankly, you know, we have the highest standards for ourselves, and I think we are our biggest critics.
You talk about people being excited about using the system and carrying that forward. Talk a little bit about how it builds that story that gets ingrained in people's minds, that they're going to go out and tell 10 other people, their friends, you know, their running club, their Pilates class, whatever it may be, say, you absolutely have to do this.
Sure. So think about your biggest financial question right now. You have a wife, you have 3 children, and you're like, God, I just really don't know how to do X. Something that really is a pain point. People don't sleep easy at night when you have money questions or if you're worried about your wallet. And so what we've done is when we solve those questions, when we provide you trusted financial advice particular to your situation, you see the users talk. We have passionate letters that come in every day being like, LearnVest, I love you. You're changing my life. You've given me the clarity of how I should think about the next 3 years of my life so that I can live the way I want to. It's not about being rich. That's not what money is about. It's about being secure. And when we provide the fundamental security for individuals' lives, they talk about it. It literally is what lets them sleep better at night. And so I do think that, you know, if we have good products and we give and deliver the right trusted, unbiased advice to people, they're gonna spread it because it really is so fundamental to your worries of not having money worries.
Interesting. You know, the idea of service, that you've got clients, you've got vendors, the CFPs, I don't know if you have investors, but let's call them stakeholders. How do you deliver, and internally with your employees, how do you deliver service that goes beyond world-class service? What's called the unexpected, service that people are not expecting, which creates that story that becomes viral?
Sure. So to steal from Steve Jobs, we want to delight our customers. And so we think of every way, how can we delight you? You know, money is daunting. It's stressful. As I said, it keeps you up at night. And so what we think is, how can we make money engaging and fun and easy for you to digest and get your answers? And that's literally what our business is all about, is how do we make money not stressful? It's not an easy thing to accomplish. And as I said, we go through that product process. We talk to millions of users. You can now link all your accounts to LearnVest, so you can see all your financial picture in one place for free. That's a great service, and it really helps you understand what your net worth is and how much you're spending on things like restaurant and food. And we have this beautiful user interface that our design team came up with that actually makes it fun to look at all your spending. That's awesome, and it really does delight. And so those are the ways that we think about solving problems to get someone to care about looking every day at their money. We make it really fun. You can drag and drop your transactions into folders. And as I said, you know, we listen to all of the users who write in constantly to get feedback.
Now that kind of idea, very innovative.
Yeah.
Where'd it come from?
So there's tons of what they call PFM tools, personal financial management tools out there. And I just said, how can we make a better one? How can we make it better for our users? And so we designed it like Gmail. It looks just like an email inbox, except it's your financial transactions. You can literally drag and drop them into folders because our design team loved playing with iPhoto from Apple, and you can drag and drop and everything becomes really playful. And I think that's a really great way to play with your money and really engage with it.
Interesting. You know, as a founder, and I loved this question earlier today, how do you define the culture of your organization so that it embodies what you set out to create?
So, so we just, in the last year and a half, have raised $25 million. So we have big dreams, big pictures, and we're moving at lightning pace. And I think when you have the opportunity, which is a rare one, to be, you know, have amazing investors, Excel Venture Partners is behind us, to be able to have that sort of money, we're moving at lightning speed. And by nature, I don't sleep. I move quickly. I'm tremendously impatient, for better or for worse. And so I always want us to move as quickly as possible. And so the things that I care about are, let's move rapidly. Let's make sure we have extremely high standards and good checks and balances built in internally. So again, as I said, talking to users, having LearnVest labs where we actually let users vet our products. Then finally, would we use them? And getting everyone to really think about that is really critical. And then failing fast. I'm okay if we fail. If we make bad mistakes, you're going to. And if we're not failing, at least some of the times, we're not pushing boundaries quick enough. So I think that's sort of how I think of our culture. And then finally, we have such an amazing, brilliant team. LearnVest gets hundreds of resumes every month from really talented people across the United States that want to come work for us. And so we have a really rigorous hiring process, which we're only focusing to make even more rigorous. But ultimately, when you have really brilliant people on your team who are really passionate about what they do, my biggest question when I ask our teammates is, what can I do to make your life better? Because they're so smart, they're so self-driven, they're so type A themselves and have such high standards for what they produce. It's a pretty easy culture to create and sustain because they're creating it because they have their own high standards. So it's really a blessing for me to get to work with such talented people.
You mentioned your philosophy for taking risks and your thought of failure. How do you encourage failure as that catalyst for innovation and change?
By not letting people be worried that there's going to be, internal consequences if we do fail, of saying, listen, we got to push the boundary. And sometimes when you're moving as quickly as we are, and again, we have our checks and balances internally, there's going to be failures. There's going to be things you don't do right, and saying, hey, listen, that's okay, but let's quickly notice it. Let's cut it. Let's move on. Let's get something better out there. And then just being really transparent, both internally as a team and with our users. Hey, luckily we haven't failed yet, but I hope we do fail soon. The last few products we've launched have been successful, but I'm sure there will be a product that we launch soon that users don't love as much as we thought they would, and that's okay, and we'll quickly cut it, say, hey, you guys don't love that, what do you love? And we'll go out and build it. And I always say, we have $25 million behind us because we're listening to our users, and I always ask, literally publicly, how do you want us to use this money? What can we build you that's going to make your life better every single day? And I think that's a really transparent way to talk to customers.
It makes a lot of sense. I've got this philosophy that there's only 4 types of entrepreneurs. It kind of looks like a genome in terms of the 4 box. And all entrepreneurs embody all 4 traits, but they have a dominant trait and a secondary trait. The visionary, the innovator, the tinkerer, or the misfit. How would you characterize yourself?
I think I'm definitely the visionary in the sense that I think that's my strongest. I know where this business is going. I know it in my gut. I know it in my heart. I'm so incredibly passionate about what we're doing. We're literally making, ideally, hopefully, millions of people's lives across America better by giving them a financial plan and giving them a roadmap. And I mean, if you look at the backset of what's happening right now, the backdrop of America, we're at the highest unemployment we've seen in a long time, 9.1%. Arguably maybe even 15% plus because people aren't all getting unemployment checks. One of the worst poverty lows, like money's daunting and it affects your entire life. And so for me, I know exactly how passionate I am about our customer and what I want to do to make their life better. I know exactly what the possibilities of our company are, meaning if we can empower, having a financial plan not to be a luxury, arguably the less money you have, the better and more important it is for you to have a financial plan because you have less money to spread around. So we've got to make sure every dollar is going exactly to the best place it can be going. And if we can provide innovation to this space, which I believe financial planning, it's, in many ways it's really out of date to go find a financial planner. It costs $250 an average per hour. And to find one, you have to ask your friends and you have to get all your documents and port them over. But if at LearnBest, you can come upload all your documents, link all your accounts, and we can give you financial help at your fingertips for a fraction of the cost. That for me is a really clear vision, and I'm really, really committed and focused to get there. And with my vision, I'm relentless. I'm gonna get there. I don't care what it takes. If it means I'm not sleeping, which has happened many times in the last 2 years. And I think what's really cool, and I do believe it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, is I have a team who really, really believes in our vision. They care about our customers, and they see this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all of us. It's not a job. It really is a pleasure to go to work every day because we get to see the fruits of our labor, and we know exactly what the next steps are to get there, and we just keep listening to our customers. So I would say that's really what I rely upon, and I know in my gut when we're making a misstep, and sometimes I can't define it via data or qualitatively, but I can say, I know this isn't the right move and we're just not going to go there. And luckily, everyone really works together and listens to each other, and so it never really becomes something that we have to fight for. Everyone's sort of on the same team and really gets it.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Pleasure meeting you.